What's going on, everybody? It's Carmine from Barmine Tech, and today we're going to be talking about setting up Apache Guacamole on your home lab. We are going to be setting this up in Proxmox as an LXC container, and we are going to be using the Proxmox helper scripts or community scripts to do so. If you're not familiar, Apache Guacamole is pretty much a remote management tool for anything that runs in your home lab or your home network. It can be to SSH into a box, RDP, or VNC into a machine as well. So I'll just show you a quick demo of what it's capable of so you know before you get into this video. This is just a test instance that I have running currently. I don't have a lot of connections at the moment, but you can see I have a Docker VM that I actually run in my home lab, and over here I have full access to the terminal through this through the web browser. So it's not like it opens up in another program or anything. It's all purely through the browser. If I go back, I have my Kali box, and I can actually open it up in a new tab, and I can access it the same way as well. So you can see over here, I have access through VNC to one of my Kali boxes that I use for some pen testing. So this is pretty much what Apache Guacamole is going to be, and I'm going to go over how to set it up and configure all the configurables. So let's get right into it. So the first thing we're going to do is come over to the community scripts. So if you're not familiar, the URL is community-scripts.github.io. Of course, I'll have a link down below, and if you Google community helper scripts or Proxmox helper scripts, you'll be able to get to this at some point. I'm gonna click view scripts. So now I haven't really been on here in a while. It looks like the community that's taken over the scripts have really been cranking out a ton of new ones. So there is a ton of new scripts available in here. But if we scroll down to miscellaneous, we can see over here there's Apache Guacamole, and this is what we're going to be working with today. So here's the default options. It has just a little bit of information, the website if you're interested, and then here's the actual script that we're going to be copying, and then the username and password to get into it. So now we're all set. So now we're going to go over to our Proxmox instance. Today I'm going to be working with the Barmine Tech server, and we're going to open up a shell. So I'm just going to right click on shell. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger just to work with, and then I'm going to paste in that script. After you have the script pasted in, you can just hit enter, and it's going to come up asking if you want to install it as an LXC container, so I'm going to click yes. Now, if you want, you can just use the default settings, which is simple enough. You're just going to hit enter, and it's going to go through. I need to use different settings because I run a cluster, and I need to change the VM ID. So I'm just going to do advanced settings, and we're going to go through here. So I'm going to click OK. I'm okay with using Debian, so I'm just going to hit tab to get over to OK and hit enter. I'm good with pretty much all the defaults are going to be fine. I just need to change the default container ID. So I'm going to just keep going through, and over here is what I need to change. So I'm just going to change this to 2, and now I'm good. You don't need to do any of this if you are, you're on normal, or you don't need to change the ID, or you don't want to change any of the hardware. You can just keep running through. But this is just what I had to do really quick. So I'm just going to finish this through, and we'll be right back. So if you do go through the advanced settings, it's going to finally get to the point where it's going to ask, do you want to create it? I'm going to click yes. And now similarly, if you don't do the advanced options, you're going to get the prompts like this in the shell where it's going to start going through the install. This will take a couple minutes because it's going to build out the container and set everything up and install the OS. So we'll give it a few minutes and we'll be right back. And you can see actually over here it's working. So we'll be back when this is all done and ready to use. So if you're maybe curious why I had to go through the advanced settings to change the VM ID, it's because I have currently the 2 servers in a cluster in Proxmox. And because of that, the VM IDs can't overlap, or it causes everything to kind of crash out and fail. So that's why my one server, the Barmine Tech server, I use a VM scheme of 200. So it's like 201, 202, etc. And on the other server that I mainly use, my mini lab server, it uses 100 schemes, so it goes through there. If they overlap where one machine on the Barmine Tech server, where it has a 100 ID number, then it's going to cause it to fail out and have an error. So that's just why I do advanced settings when I do it this way, to give it a different VM ID. If you don't run a cluster or you don't want to change any of the settings, you could just run the default options like I was saying. But if you were wondering, that's why I do it. Now, we'll be right back when the install's all done. Okay, and after a few minutes, you can see it comes up and says that the install is all done, everything's all set, and we can access it through this URL right here. I'm just going to highlight it, and then I'm going to copy it, and then we're all set to come up here. I'm just going to paste it in. So just in case you didn't catch it, it's just using port 8080/guacamole to access it. I think you could probably access it just using the port. Let's see, so it's mine's .47, so let's see, .47:8080. Okay, so it doesn't look like, so it's just running an Apache Tomcat on here, so it won't actually redirect you, so you do need to enter Guacamole to hit it, which is fine. So just be aware of that when you try to access it for the first time. The username and password to access it for the first time is guacadmin, and it is listed over here on the script. So if you don't catch it, it's right over here. You can just copy and paste it out. And now over here you can see this is our first time we're logging in, so there's no connections or anything else. The first thing we want to do is come over here to the top right where it says Guac Admin. We're going to click on that and come down to Settings, and we're going to come over to Preferences. The first thing we want to do is change the admin password. Now, if you're not exposing it to the public, it's really not the biggest deal, but it's still really recommended to change that admin password no matter what. So you can just come over here and enter the default password and change it to something that you want that's a little bit stronger. And then you can just hit update. So now we're all set with that. The next thing I like to do is come over to users, and I like to add an additional user just in case so I don't get locked out. So I'm just going to make a Carmine account. And again, I'm just going to give it a password to access it. You could fill out the rest of the information if you want, but I'm not going to. And I am just going to come over here and give myself administrator access so my account has full access to everything. We're going to hit save. So now over here I have 2 accounts. So I like to test before I continue on. So I'm just going to log in with my new Carmine account, and you can see we're all set. So now we're all good. We can actually start working with Guacamole. So like I said, Guacamole is a really good tool to be able to remotely manage all your machines in your network or your server environment all in one interface, and makes it a lot easier, especially since it's capable of SSH and Telnet and RDP if you're interested in that. So to come over here and add connections, we just gotta come back up to your username, settings, connections, and now over here is where we can enter a new connection. So I just hit new connection. And now you can name it whatever you want to do. So I'll do mini lab. And now there's a lot of different parameters that you can fill in, but for the most part, all you're going to need to do is actually come over here to this section called parameters, and that's where you're going to fill in the network information and access in it. If we come back up top, over here is where you're going to specify what kind of connection it's going to be. So for right now, I'm going to do an SSH connection. And then if you want, you can limit it to how many connections are available or by user. I'm the only person that's going to be using this, so it's not really the end of the world. If you're going to be using this in like a multi-user environment and you kind of want to limit who can do what, you might want to change it in there. But for me, right now, I'm just going to scroll down to parameters, and over here, I'm going to fill in my host name. So I'm just going to make it so I can SSH into my little Proxmox server through Guacamole. So I'm just going to grab the IP really quick, and then we'll put it in. I use domain names in my network, so I don't always remember my IPs of everything, but that's okay. So it's 251, and then I'm going to do SSH, and I have the port set as 22. Other than that, we just enter in the username and password. And then we should be all set. If you use an SSH key, you can put that in there, and then the passphrase for the key if so. Other than that, you can change your settings. So like if you want the green on black, you can do it like that. You can make the font size a little bit bigger, and then if you need to change anything else, you can pretty much do it all in here. But like I said, I'm going to leave everything pretty much default, so I'm just going to hit save connection. So now that we have the connection saved, we actually can come back up to the top right, and we're going to go home. And now over here, we can actually come in to connect to our server. So as long as everything was typed in right, we should be able to SSH right in. And you can see over here, I'm able to SSH into one of my Proxmox servers. And you can see I can do who am I, and I'm root. And it's cool because you could actually copy and paste right out of it. You can see I just was able to highlight over here the text. Okay, so it's highlighting everything right now, but you can see over here I'm able to highlight, and I could just paste it right in here. And I could also come out into like a notepad, and let's say there's something in my server that I need to get out. I could paste it into a notepad, and I'm pretty sure I could paste bidirectionally as well. So if I come over here and just do this, I should be able to paste this back in, I believe. Maybe not. There's probably a setting for it, but I would imagine there's a way to do it bidirectionally. But if I just hit the back arrow, it's going to bring me back to Minilab, and then in the bottom right, my face is in the way, but there would be a little image showing your connection. You could just close that out. Now the idea is similar. If you want to connect via VNC or RDP, it can be done so, but there does need to be the prerequisites on those machines so you can connect. So like if you want to connect via VNC to a Linux machine, you need to enable VNC on that machine first. So you got to go through the processes of setting up VNC and having it able to connect that way. And if you want to connect via RDP to like a Windows box or a Windows server, whatever it might be, RDP needs to be enabled on that machine as well. You can't just RDP because it'll just refuse the connection because it's not open. Typically, the connection is going to go over 3389 if you're using RDP, and if you're using VNC, it's going to be whatever port was specified in the VNC setup. So you'll know from there, and then you can just enter it in to connect that way. So I'll show you really quick how I did it through VNC, and I'll show a quick example on doing RDP. So just really quick, I'm going to go through RDP. I'm going to come back to settings. I'm going to do connections, and I'm going to add a new connection for one of my Windows 11 VMs. And I'm just going to name it Windows 11 or Win 11, and I'm going to set it to RDP. So I'm going to scroll down to parameters. The host name is .41, and I don't know if we need to fill it in for RDP, but I am. It's 3389. I'm going to put in my username and password. If you are on a domain, you could set it in there. I'm not, so I'm not going to. There is different security modes if you need. I don't have any of these, so it's not really a big deal. And then the other one that you really want to check out is this ignore server certificate. So being that I'm in a home lab, I don't have a CA running. There's no certificates across the network for like RDP connections. So if you never saw it before, like when you RDP, it comes up with that yellow box saying there's no cert, you know, this connection can't be trusted. That's why. So we're just going to tell Guacamole to ignore that for the time being. And then other than that, we should be all set. So I'm just going to continue to scroll down, hit save. We're going to come back to home, and we should be able to connect if I did everything right, and it looks like it is, and here it is signing me in. So over here you can see I was scrolling right at last in this box. So I'm just going to go back, and one more time we're going to close out my connection, and we're just going to add in a quick VNC connection just in case you want to see how that's done as well. So it's just going to come back to connections. We'll just call it whatever you're going to do it, and we can set it to VNC. I'm just going to set it to connect to one of my Kali boxes like I showed in the example. So I'm just going to throw in the IP. My VNC port's 5900, and then, oh, see, I made a mistake and I started putting it in the Guacamole parameters. That's not the right one. So I'm just going to fix that really quick. Make sure you put it in the network parameters. This is something different up here that won't connect properly to the box. For authentication, you can just put in your username and password again. And then other than that, we should be all set. So if you want to hit save, you can. There are a few more options if you want to read through, like there's screen recording, SFTP, audio. There's a lot of different options in here, but you can read through those and do as you need. And then if I come back to the home page, you can see now I can connect over to my Kali box again. So it's just another easy way to connect. So that's just how you set up and use Apache Guacamole. This is a great tool to have in your home lab because it just makes it really easy connecting to all your machines. Whether you have a lot of machines that you connect to via SSH, RDP, VNC, whatever it might be, it's just one central area where you can save all the connections and connect really easily out. So it just comes a lot easier when it's time to manage your environment and and access it if you need to do updates or make changes, whatever it might be. It's one central spot that you can connect to everything, and it's right through the web browser, so you could access it off any machine in your home lab or your network for that case. But yeah, that's Apache Guacamole. So as always, I'll have links to all the gear I use in my home lab down below if you're ever interested in checking anything out. Other than that, I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.